Well, y'all, I got my oven heating at 425 degrees. We're getting ready to make a chicken pot pie. So bear with me. Okay, first of all, we're going to put our veggies. We've got chicken. I got a can of chicken soup. Let's get that in our pot. Now you can use 2 cans of chicken, cream of chicken soup, but I have some gravy, so I'm going to add gravy to mine. I've got a small container of chicken gravy here, so I'm going to put that right in there. And I always forget I got this little jar spatula. It gets all the stuff out that you don't get usually. I've got a half a cup of milk. I got my carrots. That's about a cup of carrots, cooked carrots. I've got 1 can of drained peas. I've got 2 cups of chopped chicken. I just kind of chopped it up. I'm going to put in about 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg. Now you can use poultry season. I don't have any, so I'm just going to put in the ingredients. I have rosemary. About 1/4 cup of rosemary. 1/4 teaspoon of rosemary. I've got dried thyme. I'm going to put in about 1/4 teaspoon of that. And about 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg. Black pepper. A little bit of salt. Don't like to scrape the pot. Now I've got my pie shell here. And again, I've got it in a on top of a cookie sheet, and just in case anything drips over. I've got extra bowls here in case I need them to make extra. And I've got 1 can of Jumbo Great Value biscuits. Now, you can either use the pre-made pie crust, which this is. And when I bought these yesterday, I wasn't thinking about making this chicken pot pie. And then later I decided I wanted to make a chicken pot pie. Well, I want crust on top. So if you don't want to make crust, you can just use a can of biscuit. And that's what I'm going to do. And if I have extra, I'm going to make extra little miniature chicken pot pies with those bowls right there. So let's get this heated up while my oven is heating up. And that is some of the chicken from a Roast-A-Tier chicken that I bought yesterday. I got the carcass in the refrigerator with just a couple of the legs, wings, stuff like that, with a little bit of chicken meat on them that I think I'm going to make some soup with later this week. But we got our pot pie we're going to make. But this is a real simple, easy pot pie recipe. All you need really is 2 cans of cream of chicken soup. Or you can use 1 can and then equal amount to a can of chicken gravy. A 1/4 teaspoon of poultry seasoning. A 1/4 teaspoon of pepper. 1 can of refrigerated biscuit dough or biscuits. 1 egg, a little flour. And you can use 1 package of frozen veggies if you want. I just had 1 can of peas, and I had 1 can of just plain carrots, and that's what I put in there. And it's probably going to be a little bit much for this 1 pie shell. Now we're just going to bring this to a boil and just simmer it for about maybe 5 minutes, 5 to 7 minutes. We just want to get it heated up. We want to get it to the boiling point. And like I said, we want to stir it up real good, mix up all those seasonings in there. I didn't have sage, or I would put about a 1/4 of a teaspoon of sage in there. I don't particularly like sage, but sometimes, you know, to get the flavor you need, you do need it. And I didn't have it. So we're making it without that 1/4 teaspoon of sage. It's already looking good. But again, I put in 2 cups of diced up chicken. And you can use any of it you want. White meat, dark meat. I just use what meat I got off of 1 Roast-A-Tier chicken. And like I said, I've got some left in there to make some soup later this week. You'll need 1 egg, about a tablespoon of flour. If it gets real soupy, you can add a little bit of flour to thicken your gravy. I don't think I'm going to need it. 1 package of frozen veggies, or you can use 1 can of chopped carrots and 1 can of sweet peas, drained. You need a 1/2 cup of milk. And that's pretty much it. You put it in a pot, you bring it to a boil. Now we don't put our egg in this. We're going to use that to base the top of our pastry with. But you want to stir it real good, get all that seasoning mixed up real good. You know how a watch pot never boils. Already pretty much know I'm going to need a couple of these dishes. So I'm just going to baste a little bit of butter down in them to keep my pie crust from sticking too bad. I mean, if you have enough dishes, you can make individual pie crust. You know, you can make individual little pot pies instead of a big one. And they can be frozen after you fix them as well. And yeah, I'm still cramped with space because I haven't finished doing my peppers yet. I've probably got about 6-7 more pints of pepper chow chow that I'm going to make, and I'll do that later today, or later this evening. Turn that down a little bit because it's at the boiling point. Now you can definitely make your own pie dough if you want. Or you can buy the pastry dough in the flat sheets. So you don't have to make it. I'm going to go ahead and turn that off. And we're going to come over here and Well, I guess we could go ahead and put that in the pan. See how much we end up with. Get my glass. We'll see how much it takes. Oh, it smells so good. Now, what I was going to do with these that show you, I do a couple at a time. I'm going to make the little pastry dough to go in the bowls. Like one biscuit will do it, I think. Oh, let's see. I need my flour. But I think I'm probably going to have at least 4 of them. So I'm going to go ahead and fix the crust for at least 4 of these little ones. And like I said, if you use the Pyrex dishes, the cooking dishes, or even if you can get those small aluminum baking dishes, the throwaway kind, you can use them. And you can let them cool and stick them right in the freezer. Wrap them up, put them in the freezer. Now we're going to come over here. Let me move the camera. I always forget, y'all. Sorry about that. But I got my little pastry bowls, my little pie bowls. Just make sure your crust comes all the way to the top. And again, when I make a dish like this, I do not make any bread with it, because you got all of this dough to eat with your little pot pie. So I don't make any added bread. But yeah, let it come all the way to the top of your bowl, because it's going to shrink up a little. Doesn't have to be fancy. Kids would especially like this because they have their own little chicken pot pie. See if I can get a better way to get this out. Pot's a little hot. Oops. Now I'm going to come over here, and I got to make my crust for my pies, my big pie, and my little individual ones. So we're going to come over here with our biscuit dough, and we're going to get those made. And get this camera set up in a good spot. Well, I'm going to do this away. I'm just going to put them all on there and roll them out. I may have to make up some more to put on the little ones. I was going to try to make this one be big enough to go across that one pie, if I can. A little tricky. Keep wrapping my dough. Now let's see if we can get it up here. I think you can see me over there. Have to kind of fold it. And then put it down on our pie. And then unfold it as we pull it across the top. And then you can pinch it to your pie crust that's already in the bowl. I mean in the pan. Around the edges. Kind of crank it. You just want it to cover the top of your pie so you could crank it on there. Now let's see. It should be enough to do all four. If I roll it out thin enough, and I just cut this in 4 pieces. And it doesn't have to be too awfully big. These little pies are not that big. And you can see I've kind of rolled them out a little big, but you can just fold the corners under to make it fit your bowl. Your little baking dish. Now we've got one more to do and we'll have it. We'll be able to put the egg wash on and put them in the oven. That's probably big enough. So you could possibly, with the recipe I gave you, you can fix 2 deep dish pie shells like this if you don't want the little ones. If you want 4 little ones, then go by the recipe and just use 1 pie crust. And then 1 can of the biscuits. Now, what I need to do is clean my hands off a little bit. And get our egg. Oh, I've got so many dirty dishes over here. My dishes in this house is a never-ending story. But I've got this 1 egg. Put right in there. I'll just use a fork. I'm just going to beat it up. Now, where is my baster? Right here. Now we're going to take our little egg wash and I'm just going to baste the top of my egg, my pie shell, my egg. Just baste that egg right on top. Do your little ones as well. And I'm kind of making a mess. Now you don't want too much on there. I've only used probably half this egg so far. And that's all I'm going to put on there. I just want enough to kind of gloss the top. And that's going to make it brown really nice. The other part I just poured out. Now, My oven is at 425. Got to go back and pinch my top a little bit. Brushing it kind of separated part of the corners or the edges, so I had to go back and fix that. Now I'm putting the whole pan in there because I don't want it to drip all over the oven. Oops. And we're going to bake it for about 15 to 17 minutes until the crust is a golden brown, and then our pies are done. So there, I showed you how you can make your individual pies if you preferred individual pie. Like if you got kids, they probably think it was kind of neat that they had their own pie. Maybe you wanted to freeze them, so get you some of the aluminum throwaway pans, the small ones. Make you some individual pot pies, and you can freeze them, take them out. Well, cook them first. Bake them, get them nice and done and toasty brown. And I'm already starting to clean up, y'all. Yeah, buy the small pans if you want to make individual ones. And you could do all of them individual. You don't have to make a big one. And if you got room in your freezer, cook them all, freeze them, or let them cool, then freeze them. And then you can take one out or two out as you need it. Heat them up. I prefer the glass bowls because that way you can pop them in the microwave to heat them up because they're already cooked. If you put them in the little throwaway aluminum ones, then you can't put them in the microwave. So if you haven't invested in some of those little Pyrex individual bowls, I suggest you invest in them. You know, invest in 6 to 8 of them. So if the time comes that you want to fix individual desserts, individual pot pies, you got something to put them in. And like I said, you can bake in them, you can freeze in them, and you can put them in the microwave and heat them up later. So it's a win-win situation. And I don't want this video to be very long. So I think I'm going to go ahead and stop the video. Well, I'm back, y'all. I think my pies are done. Oh, yes. Get them out of here safely without burning me or dumping them. Aren't those pretty? Oh my goodness. I can't pick them up and take them to the camera, but I can bring the camera over here. Look at that. Whoop. Tighten this tripod up. It's about to... There. Aren't those pretty? I think they did real well myself. I think you can see them better right there than you can closer up, the way the light is. But look at these. Oh my goodness. They almost, one or two of them kind of bubbled over just a tiny bit, but not much. I'm going to let one of these, all of them cool, and I'm going to dig into one of these individual ones. That's going to be my dinner tonight. You see, I'm going to be eating chicken pot pie for a little bit. But don't they look good, y'all? So, make a quick and easy chicken pot pie. Buy your roasted tier chicken. I bought mine on special because it'd been there for a day. And a lot of people want to buy them when they're hot. I prefer them to sit there for a day on that warmer because they finish cooking. I like for my chicken to be done when I buy it. So it was cold. It had already been put in the refrigerator section. So it was cold and they marked it down $1 or so. So I got a pretty good deal. I basically got it for half price just because it was a cold chicken. And it didn't bother me because I was just going to bring it home and put it in the refrigerator anyway. But there you go. How easy was that? And I didn't even have to make the crust. I used the canned biscuit and a ready-made pie shell. How neat is that? I want to dig into one, but I don't know. Which one should I dig into? They're too hot to dig into, but dear Lord, bless this food I'm about to eat. Amen. Oh my goodness, look at that. Y'all take the first bite. It's just smoking. It's so hot. You see that steam coming from it? Take the first bite of that chicken pot pie with that beautiful crust on it. Mmm. Mmm. That is winning right there, y'all. Can't tell you how good that is. Yeah, still got my peppers over here because I got another 6 or 7 more jars to do in a little bit. So I got to get them done. So I can get my canner put away. Take another bite, y'all. Y'all, I have never eaten a chicken pot pie that tastes any better than this one. Even the ones you buy. But if you can, use poultry season, just a quarter teaspoon of poultry season instead of using all the different ingredients that I use because I didn't have all of them. And that does make a difference when you're making something like this. Whoop! Dropping it. I have chicken pot pie all over my stove. Yeah, that's the winner right there. Don't be afraid to make you a chicken pot pie. Look at that. And to make a beef pot pie, you do the same thing. Only you don't put poultry season in it. But you put all the other same ingredients, except instead of chicken, you put beef. Put you some beef in there. And all the other ingredients would be pretty much the same. So you got the basic recipe for a chicken pot pie. Like I said, it's very versatile. You can change it into a beef pot pie. Just leave the poultry seasoning out. You can get some kind of a beef seasoning or bouillon. And that's pretty much it. And use your chopped up beef. And you got a beef pot pie. But I think that's a winner, y'all. And look at how much I got to eat. I got to find a place somewhere in the freezer for these other three. And I'll leave this one out. It'll take me a week or longer to eat it, but that's what I'm going to be eating this next week. This weekend, next week, until it's gone. So with that, I'm going to wish y'all a good day. You have a blessed evening. Like, share, subscribe to my videos. And above all, watch my videos, y'all. I need the views. And we'll talk at you later. Bye now. Love y'all. Video at this point. And we'll get back when the pies are done and when I get ready to take them out of the oven.